Hi guys, so this is Reggie, and as you can see, I got my hair all chopped off. It's all gone. But so I know my last video was weird because it was a little bit of everything, and sorry about that. I just needed to get some stuff off of my chest. I just also cleaned my house a little bit, so the dust is starting to bother me a little bit. But today I'm going to talk about character death and character development. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of games that well, not just games, movies, shows, books, anything really can have a character death. And it can be a good character death that's meaningful, or it can have no meaning at all. And what I mean by having no meaning at all is like you haven't really gotten a chance to know the character or get attached to the character, so you don't care when they die. It's not, you're just like, oh, they died. Or they kill off so many characters that you're just like, oh, okay, that person died now. Meh. So there can be that facet too, where it's just so often that you don't care. Um, which it kind of sucks when the series gets to that point. Um, and then and what I mean by like meaningful character death is my favorite series, Suikoden. The games are pretty messed up. Spoiler warning. For those of you who haven't played it, you can pause the video, go play it. 1, 2, and 3 are on PSN. 4 and 5 haven't made it on PSN yet. So if you have a PS3, go ahead and download and play them. I think they range from like $7 to $10. They're not really that expensive. So what I mean by so in Suikoden, the first game, one of the characters that dies is early on in the game. You've played maybe an hour or two, depending how long you spent, training your characters up. His name is Ted. He's the character's best friend, and he ends up dying. And so that's a little bit emotional because, hey, he's my best friend. And you're like, all right. So, you go through the rest of the game. You get about halfway through the game. And this person who's your bodyguard pretty much raised you. His name's Guillermo, I think. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm not sure. But anyways, you pretty much have him in your party the whole game up until like the halfway point. And then you go into this house, and on your way out, the only way you can get out is for somebody to like stay behind and step on the button to let you out the door. And he does that. He stays behind and stays on the like tile so that way you can escape. And like you go back later and you find his like axe in his cloak, and so he died. And that's really depressing because you're like, oh my goodness, that character, you were so used to having, and it was it was like, oh my god. And so the way they reward you in the game, which was amazing in my opinion, was if you manage to get all 108 characters in the game, Guillermo comes back at the very end. He's revived. And I was like, oh, yay! I was so happy. And like, I immediately put him back in my party because I loved him. Like, I went and trained his ass up because he was one of my favorite characters. And then in 2, there's not so much character death as there is, so to speak, a you and your best friend end up being on the different sides of the war, and you're leading the rebels, and your best friend is a commander in the uh, enemy army. And it's sad because at the very end, if you didn't get all 108 stars of destiny, you end up killing him. And so like that's really really emotional because this is your best friend. And yeah, there is a character death. Her name is Annabelle, and she's pretty highly established in the game. You kind of like her, and then your best friend ends up like killing her, and it's sad. But in his mind, he didn't have a choice. Um, and then 3, is one of the worst ones for character death. When you play as Hugo, about 2, maybe 3 hours into the game, depending on how long you take trekking back and forth, your best friend gets murdered. by one of the other main characters in the game that you get to play as. And your whole village is also like burned to the ground. And so like Hugo absolutely despises this character named Chris. Like he wants revenge for his best friend Lulu, who she killed, and Lulu is a dude. And it's sad, but the way they did it was perfect because Lulu was this quirky character, and this quirky best friend that everybody has, and that always wants to tag along. And so they made him a lovable character, and because I've played 3 so much, I've literally I'm like I can't upgrade any of Lulu's stuff. Not his weapon, not his armor, none of that, because he's going to die. And when he dies, you don't get any of that stuff back. So there's no use for me to spend the money on him. So what I ended up doing was just and that scene still makes me want to cry because I'm like, it's so sad. And Chris, the other main character, she, because Hugo also has to go through and tell Lulu's brother and mom that he died, and so that's really hard. But then there's Chris, and way late in the game, closer to the end of chapter 4, Chris's dad dies in her arms, and it's very sad. Jeddo really doesn't have so much of a character death. Okay, Chris's dad is one of his friends, so he dies, but there's no specific character death for Ditto. So, he's kind of the safer one to play. But he's also fuck ton old. 4, you don't know this, but your prince and your mom died. The person who raised you, when you washed ashore, dies. One of the enemies dies, but you don't really know him if you haven't played Tactics, so it's not as emotional. But he dies. And then you wouldn't think you would be attached to some of the badder characters of the game, okay, that they're supposed to be your enemies. One guy is a spy that's working both sides, and he ends up getting killed, and that's kind of sad because you kind of know him. And then the one guy in the enemy forces, he chooses to go down with his ship, and he dies, and it's kind of sad because he's a really well-made, well-rounded character. And then 5 I think is by far the worst for character death, and the reason I say that is because instead of it just being some characters in the game that you've gotten to know, no, it's your family, your mom, your dad, and then at the end of the game, your aunt. All 3 of them end up being, killed in the game. And my only problem with that is, it was so messed up because you got attached to your mom, Arshtat, and you got attached to your dad, Ferret, because he's that lovable dad, and your mom is that mom figure. That's a little crazy. But, you get attached to them, and you like them, and then they die. And, your aunt, you start to understand why she's doing what she's doing, and, at the end of the game, she does die. And your bodyguard, which almost dies halfway through the game, and then if you don't have 100 Stars of Destiny, she does die at the end, after the, very last fight. I got all the Stars of Destiny because I was like, fuck that shit. Alright, this is too much. But I mean, that, it makes it really emotional. And you almost have to, establish characters that the person gets to know before you kill them. Or, one of the shows that I watched last year, coming back this summer, called Dark Matter. Okay, that show is really good, in my opinion. And it's about these 6 people and an android. And these 6 people were put in stasis, and all of their memories were wiped. That's what they tell you guys, And all of them, as far as all their memories have been wiped. But like someone in the six did this, but you don't know who. And that's the ongoing thing, is like you don't know who, and you don't know who, and you think it might be like the asshole gun-toting character. Like that's who I always thought it was going to be. I was like, that would be perfect if it's him. But out of left field, it's the black guy. And I can't remember their names because they're literally called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 2, I know, like, commands the ship. But anyways, the black guy, who has, like, a father relationship to the youngest member of the crew, the little girl. I think she's, like, a teenager. He's so, like, something seemed really off with him in, like, the last episode before, like, he turned on everybody. He told the youngest member, that she should leave. She doesn't need to stay. And she's like, no, I'm going to stay because these are my friends and everything. And at the very end, you find out it was him all along. Like, he put them in stasis and he wiped their memory. And I want to know why. I want to know why he did this. Because, like, oh my goodness, like, you love the black character. He's so awesome. And then he's the one who betrayed everybody. And I want to know why. I want to know why so badly, so I can't wait for it to come back. But, like, that's what I mean, if you're gonna have a character take a completely left turn, make him a lovable character. Make it to where, it completely throws you off. Shadowhunters. I know a lot of people were probably pissed if they hadn't read the book and had only been watching the series. I've read the books. So I knew from the very beginning that Hodge was going to betray them. And I was waiting for it. And I'm glad they didn't make Hodge like an old geezer. Like, I'm glad they made him kind of, like, awesome. But they made him really likable, too. And then he betrays everybody. And I was like, I knew it. I knew it because I read the books. But I was like, that was really good character development, too. Because you liked him. You didn't expect him to be the one to betray everybody. But he did. And it was like, oh, yeah. Like, in the books, I wasn't expecting it. It did come out of left field. But in the show, since I knew it was going to happen, I was like, okay, let's see how this is going to happen. I hope they made, him really good. And they did. And so, that's great. But yeah, I friggin'... it's good. But, like, that's with books and series and anything. If you're going to have a character die or a character take a left turn out of nowhere, you need to make it make sense. And, if it's a left turn that people aren't expecting, like maybe the character betraying, the main group, make the people attached to them, make it come out of left field. Don't make them go, oh, I knew that was coming, kind of thing. So you need to make that a thing. Very much so. And, I'm just stating this because, like, I've seen some characters that, don't have good character development. And then I've seen other characters that are great and have a ton of character development. And the best way to make a mysterious character, going back to Suikoden, there's this character in 3 that you can get in the Kuput Forest. His name is Landis. Kind of looks like Grim Reaper. And it can take you 2 minutes to get him. It can take you 2 days to get him. And I'm not joking. Because it's random. You just have to leave one open spot in your party. And the best time to get him is, like, Chris's Chapter 3. Because you're in the Kuput Forest a lot. But, like, he just randomly joins you so long as you have one spot free. And the first time it happened, I was like, oh my goodness, who is this person? Why is he randomly in my party? And then the next time I played the game, I spent freaking 2 hours trying to get this character. And you have a detective agency that can find out more about, the characters that you've gotten. Literally, they can't find out shit about Landis. And I'm doing a roleplay with a friend of mine, and they're playing Landis for me and in the RP, and she's made him into a spy. And I started to think about that, and I was like, oh, well, that makes perfect sense, because you don't know a shit ton about him. He's just randomly in the Kuput Forest. He's not, like, in his village or anything. Like, and I think he also might have been, like, that last character that Konami just kind of threw in there because they needed 108 characters. So they have 108 characters in every Suikoden game. So they were like, fuck it, we need another character. And they just kind of threw him in. So, I mean, he's awesome and he's pretty strong, don't get me wrong, but it's like, what? Where? Like, you know nothing about him. You just know that he's kind of there and he's kind of awesome. That's literally about it. But make your characters, like, if you're making a story or making a game, make your characters memorable. Don't make them the same cookie cutter characters. Give them a little bit of a different past. Change it up. Make them take a left turn. Make someone die that, people have gotten attached to. you know, or make that character take a left turn and, be something that nobody expected they were. Um, you know, just to like make the people go, why? I need to know why. And so they'll continue to play or watch or read. Um, if you just have another critical character, people will be like, meh. So I'm just, that's that. Um, I will probably do another recording of Airman's Prophecy. I don't know if you guys have been able to watch 3, 4, or 5 as of right now because of the copyright disputes that I have to deal with. Because Windows Media Group keeps putting a copyright claim on a song that sounds like one of theirs, but isn't, because I have permission from the game's creator to do the Let's Play series. So I guess as I fight these copyright claims, you guys will eventually be able to watch these. I don't know, because right now they're currently blocked in like pretty much all of the U.S. and a bunch of other countries. If you're not in the U.S., then great, you can watch them. But pretty much if you're anywhere in the U.S. or any U.S. territories, you're screwed. You can't watch my videos except for my vlogs. Um, so I'll probably do a little bit of Airman's Prophecy, and then I might play a PS2 on PS4 game or a PS4 game for you guys today. I'm not entirely sure. Or I might just sit around and play more Dragon Age on my own because I'm slowly getting through that game and trying to beat it before I play it for you guys. Um, but if you guys have a suggestion of a game that you want me to play, let me know. I have a shit ton of Steam games. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I have Banished and Chantilly's. Here, I'm gonna make my face smaller. Woo! Oh no, I got tiny. Desktop. There we go. So, alright, so I have this, I have Banished, I have Chantilly's, I have Final Fantasy 14, I have Fortune Summoners, Secrets of the Elemental Stone, I have Goddess, I have Honeycomb Studio, I have Honey Pop, I have Labyrinth Dreams, I have all of the Millennium games, 1 through 5. I have Orcs Must Die Unchained, I have Papers, Please, I have Recruiter, an Item Shop Tale, I have Sacred Citadel, I have Secret of the Magic Crystal, I have Stardew Valley, Torchlight 1 and 2, Tree of the Savior, and Whisper of a Rose. So, I have a bunch of games. And then I have, my RPG makers. But you guys probably don't want to see me just sit around and make games. But if you guys want me to play any of those, let me know. I also have... Give me a second. Let me bring up this one. I have... I will go away. Give me a second, guys. No, go away. So, I have Alpha Kamor Episode 1, Avion 1 and 2, and all parts of 3. I also own 4, just not through Big Fish. I own Diner Dash, Diner Dash 2. I also own 3 and 4, just not through here. I own Diner Dash 5, Garden Dash, Hotel Dash, My Kingdom for the Princess, Royal Envoy, Yummy Drink Factory, The Enchanted Kingdom, Elsa's Adventure. There. Go away. And like I said, I own Avion 4, and I have Undertale and Holy Potato, and I have, where'd my other games go? Oh, I also have a game called Homework Salesman, which is kind of like Harvest Moon, Broom Factory type of thing. It's pretty fun. That's all the games I think I have on my computer right now. And I have some PS4 games. I have like Dragon Age, The Last of Us, Until Dawn, uh, Tales of whatever the Tales game is for the PS4. I can't remember right off the top of my head. I also have Rogue Galaxy, PS2 for PS4, and I have Dark Cloud 2. I eventually plan on getting Dark Cloud 1. Next month, I'm getting the new Atelier game, Atelier Sophie, the Mysterious Book, and I'm also getting Star Ocean 5. For both of those, as soon as I get them, I will be playing them live right away. So it'll be all good. Those will automatically be up. So that should be good. But I don't know what I'm going to play today. Like I said, I'm probably going to play a little bit of Airman's Prophecy later on today. Maybe get a little bit further for you guys. Because again, I have no idea what I'm doing in that game. I've never gotten very far. But, we'll eventually beat it together. If you guys have any suggestions of games that you would like me to see me play that I own or don't own, let me know. I also own Diablo 3. I don't own the expansion for that, but meh. If you guys would like to see me play Dragon Age for you guys, that's cool too. Just let me know. Because right now I'm just kind of playing through for myself. And trying to get through everything. And I do mean everything. So yeah. Other than that, that's really all I have to say for this video. So, oh yeah. And whenever this game comes out, Final Fantasy 15, I'll definitely be playing it for you guys. Because I've been waiting forever, like everybody else. So, but I will see you all in the next video.